everyone, Ashlyn here with Minister for Happiness, and welcome to this week's story time. As always, I'd like to start by saying well done for giving yourself the time and space to listen to this week's story and to take the life lesson that speaks to you from the story into your week and life ahead. And as always, I'd advise that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get notifications for this new story every week. And please like and share this post wherever you see it, because you never know who might need to hear this story this week, who might need a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of, something that speaks to them and resonates with them to help them through their week ahead. So this week's story is a true story, and it's a true story of a person that I'm sure everybody has heard of or seen at some point on the TV screen. And the story is called The Real Rocky Story. And it's of course about Sylvester Stallone. Because back in 1974, Stallone was a struggling actor and screenwriter. At one point, he was so broke that he stole his wife's jewellery and sold it. Eventually, for him, things got so bad, he couldn't afford rent or food, and he slept in a New York bus station for 3 days. At his lowest point, he had to sell his dog because he couldn't feed him. And he sold his dog for $25 to a guy outside a liquor store, and he walked away crying. 2 weeks after he sold his dog, he was watching a boxing match with Muhammad Ali, and at the time, someone who was considered a nobody, Chuck Wepner, who ended up being quite a surprise to everybody. But this particular fight inspired Stallone to no end, and after watching it, he got this creative outburst, and he wrote continuously for up to 20 hours apparently, until he had finished the first draft of the screenplay, Rocky. A lot of people don't know that Stallone wrote this movie, so it's an interesting note there. Down to his last $106, Stallone submitted his screenplay to an agent. A studio offered him $20,000, and they had either Ryan O'Neal or Burt Reynolds to play the lead. Stallone was really excited about the offer, but he wanted to play the lead character himself, and he even offered to work for free. But they didn't want him as the lead role, and they offered him eventually $330,000, and he told them though that he'd rather not have the movie made if he couldn't play the lead. He wanted to be the main actor. The script of Rocky was his, and he wanted to be Rocky himself. That was part of his vision. But the studio said no, they wanted a real star. They made the point that he looked a little bit funny and he talked funny. But you see, Stallone had a reason for this. Unfortunately, there were complications suffered during his mother giving birth to him. And the obstetrician had to use 2 pairs of forceps apparently. And the misuse of the forceps severed a nerve and caused paralysis on one side of Stallone's face. He went his whole life being bullied for this, and he grew up in an impoverished, crime-ridden part of Hell's Kitchen. And Stallone had a lot of trouble going through school, and he was bounced around from house to house because living at home was unbearable with his parents fighting. So he had a tough upbringing, and he had lots of reasons to be stubborn about playing this role. This was his dream. He wanted to be Rocky, so suffice it to say, he left that day with his script. But finally, obviously they knew the script was good, they reached out to him and they offered him the $20,000 for the script plus $340 a week actor's fee. That was, of course, after expenses, agent's fees and taxes. Stallone ended up netting about $6,000 at the end of it all, instead of the $330,000 that they had offered him to just sell the script. However, in 1976, Stallone was nominated for an Academy Award as Best Actor. The Rocky movie won 3 Oscars, and the movie Rocky was even inducted into the American National Film Registry as one of the greatest movies ever. The Rocky series has since grossed over $1 billion, making Sylvester Stallone an international movie star. And I suppose the moral of the story is to follow your gut and stick to your guns. And sometimes in life we have something we really want, and it's important to not give up on it because you never know how it'll come about. And just to add to this story, I think this is interesting, but the first thing that Sylvester Stallone bought after his success was his dog that he had sold. Yep, he went back to that liquor store and he stood outside there for 3 days, waiting for the man to come along so he could buy his dog back. And eventually the man did come along, and Stallone offered him $100 and explained why he had to sell him. But the man didn't want to sell the dog back. Then Stallone offered him $500. The man still wouldn't sell the dog back. Eventually he offered him $1,000. Obviously the guy was onto something here. And he said no. So Stallone ended up buying back his dog eventually for $15,000 instead of the $25,000 he had sold him for. But it was important to him because his dog was his best friend, and he never would have sold him except he couldn't feed him. And today the same Stallone that slept in the streets or in the bus station and sold his dog because he couldn't feed him is one of the greatest movie stars who's ever walked the earth. And as far as I'm concerned, a really great inspiration. I love hearing the backstories of people's successes because I think it inspires in all of us that no matter where we are right now in our lives, we can always, always, always reach higher, aim higher, and keep going for that dream. Keep up the fight, just like Rocky, basically. Keep your dreams and hope alive, always. And just go get it, whatever it is that you want, no matter what it is. If it's that job, if it's to write that book, if it's to approach that person, if it's to, maybe make a movie, become an actor, become a singer, whatever it is, as Wayne Dyer said, don't die with your music in you. And everyone has something in them that's creative or that they're passionate about. So why not go for it? You never know. You could be a success just like Stallone. So I hope you enjoyed this week's story and life lesson, and I hope it gives you food for thought to bring into your week and inspires you to take some action in something that's important to you. As always, as I said at the beginning, please like and share. You never know who else this might inspire. And subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get these stories every Sunday. And whatever day of the week it is you're looking at this, it's the right time for you. Have the most wonderful day and be healthy, and most importantly, stay happy. Bye.